Abanigani, everyone. This is Professor Rahh, Professor Emeritus, California State University of Long Beach, former retired professor from Compton College, was a former city councilman for the city of Compton, former board of trustees for Compton College, and former board of trustees for Compton Unified School District, along with my co-host, historian Joe Hembrick, longtime educator and activist in our community, first head Black coach from Linwood High School, and at the same time, one of the most sincere, committed administrators for Centennial High School, where he mentored young people through his teachings and through his activism and through his example of Black manhood. And we deeply appreciate all you that have tuned into what we call the Conscious Corner, a term that historian Joe Hembrick coined, and it has really caught on with regards to lifting people's consciousness about the experiences and the struggle of Black people. Tonight we got a special treat. We got a good presenter, and that presenter is Omari Bakari, formerly known as Greg Butler, longtime activist and longtime strategist, political strategist, business entrepreneur strategist for people, has written many proposals, many activities, had a newspaper that he published called the Compton, I can't remember it, but you can call it the Compton Journal, that he published all himself. He was one of my chief consultants when I ran for office, all for the Board of Trustees and for the City Council. And above all, he's a personal friend. He constantly gives analysis, a graduate of Howard University, and at the same time, from the community, and never forgot his roots. So Brother Omari, you can start off with your presentation. And when you're ready for us to ask you questions, just stop and say, is there any questions? Then after we do those questions, you can resume with any other presentation. All right, so Brother Omari Bakari.
Thank you, Professor Rahh and Rashiki and Joe for you guys having me this evening. And also thanks for all the folks that are listening in to supporting it, Corliss, Gary. I can't see who else is in here, but thank you guys for joining us. So Professor Rahh, I like to call him my mentor. When I first came home from Howard, I was reading the Compton Bulletin and I would always see his commentary, and I was shocked because I just didn't know anybody that conscious in Compton. But thank you for giving me this platform. So what I'm talking about today is Blacks in Technology. I'm the president of the Los Angeles chapter. We're a national organization. We have 53,000 members, and we have chapters in 40 cities and about 6 different countries around the globe. And our focus is our model is stopping the digital divide. In LA, we have 3 initiatives. One is workforce development, where we try to help folks who work in the tech industry excel, get more training, and try to advocate to improve the recruiting practices of probably one of the most, I don't want to say racist, but probably one of the most white male dominant industries on the planet. And our research, what we determined is this is actually a $28.9 billion conversation. That's what the digital gap represents in terms of Black people being employed, Black people having businesses, and understanding both digital equity and digital literacy. The other initiative is, of course, digital equity. We work with entrepreneurs, startup ventures to help them find funding, get business development so they can excel in the tech industry. But to me, the most important is our digital literacy programs, because that's when we get to actually work in the community. So we have a couple of programs. One is a youth tech camp that we are working in conjunction with the Key of Knowledge CDC in Compton. and the STEM Education Resource Center on 54th Street in LA. Through them, we have like a 10-week tech camp that teaches kids. This is a math-based program. It's math every week, but we do field trips. We have a course in robotics, a course in drones, actually learning how to build a drone and fly it. There's a solar energy model in the 10-week period too. Then on the other side of the coin, we have a senior community, let me make sure I'm saying this, a senior computer lab tech where we hope to engage senior citizens to help them become more engaged in using technology, even if it's just a laptop, tablet, or a mobile device. What the pandemic has taught us is that there are situations that will not allow us to get out, get to the doctor, but with technology, we can still communicate with public services, public health, public education, public housing, public transportation. So we want to be able to at least help seniors navigate the most basic tech engagement that they have, and that's their mobile devices. So those are our three initiatives. Now, the programs that we have to align ourselves with those initiatives, first of all, in February, we're doing a virtual job fair. We're kind of excited about it because this is our first opportunity to expand that pipeline of Black talent that's eligible, capable to get jobs in the tech industry. So we have resources with all the HBCU career fairs. We're going to work diligently to get in touch with the students at the California Community College level and the California State University and the University of California systems, primarily Black students, is our focus. So through that, through our membership, we hope to have a global talent pool for the tech industry in here in LA to look at. And then later on, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, we have our first interview with the American Heart Association. We just asked them for $500,000 to fund a program called Accelerate Black LA. That program is a tech startup accelerator. We want to be able to give at least 5 ventures $50,000 each that will go along with the 13-week training program, that at the end of it, they'll be able to go out and find some real seed money to get their businesses launched and additional training and support from the resources available to Blacks in Technology. And at the end of the year, we'll celebrate those two activities with what we call Innovation Week. And that's pretty much what we're doing in a nutshell. And basically, we just want to identify the activity that's going on here in LA. LA is one of California and Los Angeles have the most tech firms in the world. They're located right here. And because of the industries here in Los Angeles, entertainment, sports, tourism, there's a huge opportunity for tech jobs, tech ventures, and tech activity in the city. So our goal is to make the Los Angeles chapter the model chapter in Blacks in Technology. And that kind of speaks to the programs and the projects that we want to launch. So that's what we're doing in a nutshell.
Okay, then. Sister Linda, you have any questions?
Oh, no, but not really, but because I came on late, but I did hear a little bit. And I wanted to ask the brother just a little bit what I heard. When you were talking about reaching the seniors, and have you all connected with kinship at all? And kinship is grandparents raising grandchildren. And they do have a chapter in our organization component in Los Angeles in California. So again, my question, have you connected with kinship?
No, we haven't, but I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I'm a grandparent raising a grandchild.
You and I both. And brother, if you need the connection in LA, I can give you the contact information of them, because I'm here in Florida, but I do have a contact person in California or Los Angeles and Long Beach.
Yeah, I would love to connect with them. Right off the top of the bat, I can imagine what that could look like, having a grandchild in school, trying to keep up with them, staying on top of what's going on with the school and them in school. So by all means, please share that information with us. I wasn't aware of the organization at all. Thank you.
All right. Sister Aziza?
Yes, good afternoon. No, I don't have any questions at the moment. I think that what you have introduced to us, is really great, and I'm hoping that everyone who will participate in it could benefit and be able to navigate through what you were talking about. Thank you.
Very good. What about Corliss?
Good evening. I'm enjoying the talk tonight. I don't really have any questions at this time.
All right, then, and Brother Gary?
Thanks for the invitation, though.
All right, Gary? Kelly, are you there? Are you still, you're on Zoom? I mean, on mute. Music. You're on mute. Okay, brother Historian Joe Hembrick.
Hey, appreciating the presentation. I'm one of those seniors that's, all this stuff is Greek to me. If it wasn't for the show that we've been doing, I wouldn't be as technological as I am. And I had to get a computer to do that. So I'm old school. I can type my butt off. I took typing in school, but when it comes to all this technology and PayPal and all the stuff they got out there, I'm kind of lost. So I had to have my daughter show me so much stuff, and she's tired of showing me, telling me I guess I am. And I'm still a cash and carry person. I like cash or what I do. And I'm scared to put anything out there on the internet because I don't want no identity stuff and all that. So I'm kind of like, stick with what you know, Joe. And that's what I try to do. So, but anyway, I'm anxious to learn a little bit. So I'm anxious to listen and see what you got going on for the scene.
Well, what Joe just said, it kind of speaks to a lot of the apprehensions that not just seniors, but a lot of Black people have in particular. So when we talk about this digital divide, this digital gap, or equity gap, I think it's kind of important for us to know that there are some comfortable spaces in technology that we can exist in. I'm like Joe too. I just asked my daughter today, does she use Apple Pay? Because I guess I got a updated version on my phone, and I noticed they put the Apple Pay icon in there. Well, I'm
everything else is together.
Yeah, I'm actually afraid of putting my money out there like that because I hear all these horror stories. But when we look at technology, there are a lot of parts that we actually deal with on a daily basis without really realizing the impact of the technology. For example, most of us deal with what's called natural language processing on a daily basis. Natural language processing, which is known as NLP, is the process of machine learning. They have taught the machine, artificial intelligence, the parts of speech, and that's how it can answer a question. So like if you ask Siri, where is Poston Bean restaurant? Well, Siri now understands the parts of speech, and through its database, it can find the answer to the question that you asked. So things like that are some of the applications that I think we need to understand. Another issue that we have with technology when it comes to Black folks is the question of theology. So we tried to work with some of the Black churches to help get seniors to use the technology in their theological practices. For example, you would see an old lady that would rather carry a 45-pound Bible to church and thumb through it to keep up with the pastor, where their mobile device, the tablet, can get them from scripture to scripture at the touch of a button, or just a voice activation to help them get through the Bible. So there are certain things that we can do to use technology to augment the quality of our lives. Now, there are other areas that are a distraction and a discomfort to us all, like these robotic calls that we get on our cell phones on a daily basis that are trying to get information or trying to spam us for our personal information. So that part of technology isn't annoyance. There are other parts of technology that can benefit us, particularly when it comes to public services, public health, public education, public housing, public transportation, public safety, and public information. But one of the things that I think is really important for us is education, math. The national levels of math in our country show us that the United States is failing when it comes to teaching Black children how to read and teaching Black children math. The math and reading proficiency scores are just terrible. And California is worse than the place else in the nation when it comes to educating Black children. So we have a problem that's going to exist in the future if we don't fix that. When we talk about this pipeline of talent of people who can get jobs, if we don't improve how we educate our children today, they're not going to have a future tomorrow, because this world is going to be ran by technology.
I got a second question, brother. If I can chime in right here, Brother Rahh.
Yeah, go ahead.
With this paying bills online, that's something I'm really afraid of. Everybody tells me it's a time saver. Like every month I write out from 20 to 25 different bills, old school, with checks and stamps and all of that. And this paying bills online, I don't know how many of you do it, but that's really frightening to me also. So can you address that, or do they do any teaching on that, or what's up there?
So again, Joe, I'm real apprehensive about my personal stuff. Now, my business stuff, I pay most of my business charges or fees or expenses. I do that online, but then I have a separate account. So if somebody's going to hack that account, that's all they're going to do. But my personal stuff, I'm like you. I'm still apprehensive about just letting that go now. So for me, it's like I'm in a happy spot. I still try to keep a little money, cash in my pocket to do what I got to do. I'll still go pay my bills like you're doing. But in terms of business, to me, it's a lot easier relying on technology. And yeah, I end up having to fight, going through customer service, going to some automated phone service to get to someone to speak to sometimes. But I just think that's the nature of where we are with technology. Now it's advancing at a speed that most of us can't even comprehend. Well, of course, all of us that are on here now, most of us that are on here now, can remember Dick Tracy. And we can remember Dick Tracy had that watch where he could call his partner up and say, hey, I'm in trouble, I need some help. Well, now that's a reality. They have that watch. You can go get that watch and you can communicate with people. So I think what we have to do when it comes to technology, we need to understand how to use, because it's a tool. So we need to understand how to use the tool. Some of us aren't going to be comfortable using the tool. and that's okay. But those of us who do have to use those tools, we need to understand how to use them. I tell my grandson all the time, I'm checking his phone to see how many hours he's on the phone. And I just told him the other day, when you're on the phone 4.5 hours a day, how long are you in school? If you got basketball practice, what else are you doing for 4.5 hours a day? But and I try to get him to understand that it's a tool. You know, it's a tool that we didn't have in school. When we were in school, we couldn't take a phone to school. The teacher asked us something about history, and we could just ask Google to look for it. Boom. So I try to get our kids to understand it's not a toy. It's not just for entertainment. It's a tool. It's an alarm on that phone. There's messaging on that phone. You can check the weather on that phone. You can do a variety of things to make that phone, that device, a tool to improve your quality of life every day. That's the positive side. The negative side of it is sitting on there looking at TikTok or playing a game for 4 or 5 straight hours.
Professor Rahh.
Yes.
We have Brother Troy on here. I told him to come on board because he has some ideas that Brother Omari is talking about. So, Brother Troy, would you like to chime in on the conversation, or ask? You're on mute, Brother Troy. Okay, I guess he's just. Oh, there he is.
Assalamu alaikum.
Like Salam.
How y'all doing? How's everybody?
Oh, good.
And to my grand brother Rahh, how you doing, sir?
Black as I can be, brother. Just black, just swinging at everything white.
Yeah. I know, brother. I know it's nation time. And then Brother Omari, it was ironic when I saw your name and brother said you was on speaking about that, because a dear friend of mine's, and he was a attorney of mine, which was named Omar Bakari.
Yes.
I mean, Rahh, you probably know his dad, Boo Boo Bakari.
Yeah.
Omar Bakari, are you related to Omar?
No.
But y'all familiar with him?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, he was a really good friend of mine. Last time I seen him, he was just coming in from Africa. He was losing his sight, but he was still the same revolutionary that I knew him to be. And I was a very young soldier in the nation, and he used to look out for us in a lot of different ways, for a lot of different stuff. So he was very instrumental in my life. Believe me. So it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Thank you. Likewise.
So as Regal was saying, I had sparked that question to him I think last week, in regards to technology for our kids. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I got another meeting that I'm gonna be going to real soon. Technology for our kids, and our kids getting involved where we are not positioned at yet. I know our kids are behind when it comes to coding and robotics and all those things that need to be done. At this time, I live in Orange County, and as I go through shopping centers and everything, I'm always noticing credit ninja camps, coding ninja camps, excuse me, and SAT prep. But they starting them in very young elementary, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, getting them ready for SATs. They got the camps for them. They preparing them all the way out, ACTs, the whole 9, whatever T you need to get, they got them prepared. But one of the things, I have a tech company myself that we specialize in SEO work and stuff like that, and digital marketing and those things. And I'm always taken back that most of my employees come from the Philippines and India, and they're able to come in and they don't know much more than just coding and analytics and stuff like that. If you take them past the script, and you got Chase and all these companies having them doing a lot of the virtual secretary work. And whenever you call your credit cards and all that, and you wondering why you can't get nothing done, because they don't know nothing about America business.
Right.
And so, I have noticed I'm paying attention really close to Africa, and I'm following them on the internet. I'm following them on CNN International and all that. And a lot of the kids is doing a lot where they coming back from here and going back home, and they actually are taking technology and education and everything back to certain parts of Africa, not all parts, certain parts. You know what I'm saying? And so what my interest is I'm looking to say to Rigo when we had talked, how do we get our kids more involved? I'm one that plays sports, like I'm in Rahh and Rigo, we all play sports, and that was something that was our outlet to get to school and different things like that. A lot of the kids, and I know my own kids, I could hardly get them outside to go play ball. You know what I mean? I'm fighting with them to go outside. When we was kids, we was fighting to stay outside. You know what I mean? Our mothers took us like that was a punishment. If you run in and out, you can't go back out. You know what I mean? But where our kids is, we pushing them outside because they want to be on the video games and all that. And I know me and my wife, we had took our youngest one, and we had took him to a school in Monrovia, a college, a computer school, and we started taking him there like in the fifth or sixth grade, because he was really good with computers. I mean, he was actually hacking. Codes wasn't nothing for him to crack, and and he could actually clean the viruses and things off a computer. So we thought we can spark that by getting him there early. It didn't work. Just because the neighborhood and the influence of the kids, the other kids, why you have to leave to go to something like that, you know what I mean? Whereas like when we are growing up, all of us is, hey, we're fighting to go play basketball at the park or the schoolyard or football in the street and all that, where they didn't want to do that. There was a lack of understanding there with the new kids. So I'm trying to figure out how do we get them in this understanding of, hey, there's no job for you to think like when we was probably the last generation that say, hey, we could graduate high school and get a job. That day is dead now. They can't graduate high school and get no job that's getting ready to take care of them or give them any kind of better life unless they come out of there with a great trade, you know, and you kind of multifaceted high school, tech, vocational, and get to college or have something that's significant that's going to be useful to America and the world. And Brother Rahh, nowadays for all of us, it's not a local education. Now it's a international education. You can actually be at home sitting on your computer, and you can actually make money just sitting on your computer. And where I live right now in Orange County, I got 19, 18, 19, 20 years old kids that's in Lamborghinis and DeLoreans and Teslas and all that. And we live right by Blizzard, and I don't know if you're familiar with Blizzard Studios, where they make the major video games. And when you look at that studio that's walking distance from my place, it looks like Universal Studios. It looked like you at CBS. You have to walk in there that way. It's secured the same way. These kids is making millions of dollars, millions, and they're babies. And we need our babies making that kind of money that any of us can survive. I yield back to you.
So you made some good points, and I think to answer the question, there's a few things that have to be addressed, but I'll start here. One of the issues that we have in our community is that the business models that we use are out.
Yes, sir.
Most people think that the way to help the community is to start with a nonprofit.
No, sir, that day is dead.
Yeah, that day is. As a matter of fact, I was in a meeting with the American Heart Association, and they just flat out said they don't even want to give money to nonprofits because nonprofits are going to just come back asking for some more money next year.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're in the mall, you see all those places, the Ninja Camps, the SFT. Those are nonprofits. Those are for-profit businesses.
Of course, I do know that. Yes, sir.
And the people who patronize them are patronizing them because of the service that they provide.
Yes, sir.
In our communities, we think that we should be giving those services away free. And so the nonprofit will set up and look for some funding and look for grants to provide those services, as opposed to a nonprofit setting up and saying, hey, I'm sorry, as opposed to a business setting up and saying, hey, I'm going to set up coding camps and I want to put the stores in malls all across Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
So I need investment dollars, and I can show you how we're going to make money, and I can show you how we're going to get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a totally different path to how we have to do business in our community and how we're going to educate the people in our community. Another thing that I wanted to address in response to
Brother Omari, when you go back, your voice go out.
Okay. On a global scale. In Africa today, I just met with a brother yesterday who has a computer recycling service, and he has a school in Uganda. And he was explaining to me that he got his education in India. Well, in India, he says, the government will pay, as long as you want to go to school, they'll pay for the education.
Yes,
so
sir.
You got people walking around in India, 1, 2, and 3 PhDs, but they have absolutely no skills. So they can come to America and get a job with the top corporation, and that job, whatever job they get, they're going to get a job description that's going to tell them how to do the job.
Yes, sir.
He likened that to how you learn coding. Coding is not different. It's just knowing what the process are, knowing what the codes mean. And he explained to me that if you took a child and just had him writing the same code over and over, eventually what they would see is each one of those codes executes a particular command.
Yes, sir.
So while we think that there's a real difficult task, I think it's something that these kids would grasp immediately. A lot of what's going on is we have to change the way we look at this technology. We have to change the way we embrace it. You pointed out another example about these kids rolling around in these expensive cars. Well, the gaming industry is a huge part of technology. And
yes,
there's
sir.
a lot of money to be made. People are making money developing games, playing games, writing the soundtracks for kids. The young brother that started out with NWA,
yes, sir.
I think his name was Arabian Night. I think he might have did that first album with NWA, but he has made as much money as all of those guys just writing soundtracks for the gaming industry. So there are a lot of different ways that these kids can get involved. But I think we have to expose them to stuff that they can see as exciting. So when we were growing up, it was exciting to play basketball.
Yes, sir.
Our neighborhood, you know, we just had a little outdoor court in the school across the street from us. Every day
Likewise.
there was no school, we were on that court.
Likewise for us. Went to Tibby. Tibby was the mecca of basketball outside.
Right. So today, that's not the case. Today, everybody is playing 1 or 2 real popular games.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's what excites them. So we're going to have to figure out how to take that excitement they get from those games and help them get engaged, show them how they can make money off of working in those fields, working in those industries, and show them that it's not that difficult. I think I want to go back to what I was saying earlier about how we're failing to educate our kids. Because if our kids can't read and write, they can't negotiate a contract, they can't count how much money they're going to have. And this is just the basic rudimentary stuff. I'm not talking about coding stuff, just being able to manage their lives, being able to read and count. So much of that has gotten away from it. But yeah, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of gaming. There are a lot of things. The film industry almost relies on drones.
Yeah, they do.
Drones, using drones for camera work. The military. Matter of fact, I think something just passed on the ballot about fires in California. They're gonna need drone pilots to survey the land to see what's happening with the terrain. So there's so many things that I think will excite children if we give them a shot. You know, we expose it to it, and I hope that's one of the roles that we play with Blacks in Technology here. My focus is really the digital literacy piece and making sure that we can exist in society with technology. It would be a real tragedy if we had something worse than a pandemic that came along that would really shut us down and we couldn't communicate because we don't know how to use the tools that technology has availed for us.
Okay. So that's excellent. Troy, you have anything else you wanted to ask?
I would add, he's 100% right, and especially when it comes to the education. I think when we talk about education, I can't go past you guys because I definitely always yield to you guys and how to educate our youth. And in that manner, and I always will, because that's what you do. And you've been great at it. And especially when I'm speaking to Rahh, and I got friends that they didn't know I know Rahh, and they speak so highly of Rahh that he helped them just through life in college, from some really high ups to some people that you don't know. That don't know, you don't know, we don't know it, but I just happen to know them. So when we talk about education, you know, we always yield there. But when we also talking about education to technology to survival, we're also talking about the excitement. You finding a tool, finding an instrument that will create the excitement. The one thing we always knew is we had to be eligible. We had to play. We had to study to go play at the park. We had to study. Grades had to be right, or you couldn't go play. Parents nowadays, some of the parents that's around, and I hate to say that, and especially in our community, they appear to me like they more scared of the kids than the kids scared of. Because my mother's passed now, and I'm still scared of her. You understand? Certain stuff I say I just can't do because I know she's sitting somewhere. You know what I mean? And I don't want to embarrass her in that manner. But you know, nowadays kids have no fear of their parents. The parents look like they're scared of the kids, and they don't expect to. You know, they don't want any discipline. You know, I'm speaking to a child. A lady asked me to could I help her son at any chance? And so one day I'm talking to her son because I found something out about him at school, And she came and said, well, what are you saying to him? I said, didn't you ask me to talk to him when I get a chance? And she said, yeah, well, I need to know what you're talking about. Well, then I'm going to have to leave that alone. You understand? Because what I'm talking about could be embarrassing to him, just the way he's acting and performing at school. So, you know, it's a sad situation. But we have to find that light. We have to find that vessel. We have to find that understanding on what we can do to put. So when you're speaking to earlier now about soundtracks and all that, one of the reasons that you see what was happening with the Amigos, their head Offset was he's into the gaming and the soundtracks and the teams and all that. And he's actually, like you said, he probably making way more money, and nobody's more successful in the music business than Amigos right about now, and or right then. And he was saying, hey, I'm gonna have to back away from making music with us because I got something else going on. It's like movies. It's like it's a funding. It's a wave, and it's a worldwide wave. And we have to figure out how to get into those worldwide waves. I don't like to say we have to figure it out, Brother Amin Ra, Brother Rasta, because we don't have to figure out nothing.
But Brother Troy,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna have to get you on the show because your presentation is deep, and so we got some other people that may want to ask some questions, but I'll make sure that if Rashaki is all booked up, that you be on our show, and then you can come and give your perspective on raising youth and the challenges that we face in education the next time we have my
slide open. Yes, sir.
all right. So I gotta go to the next person.
Yes, sir. I
question.
appreciate the time.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir. You
Yes,
have
sir.
a great day.
All right, you stay on and listen to the rest.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right here.
Pleasure talking to you, boy.
Okay, Brother Mashinda.
Yeah, good evening. How you doing?
Good.
Well,
Good. Yeah, good. You know, appreciate the presentation tonight and all the commentary that's come about. You know, that's a tough nut to crack sometime when we're talking about, you know, bridging that digital divide. I've been in education for years, specifically taught IT for 14 years at a community college level, doing some other things now within the college. But trying to get those young kids, the high schools and the junior high schools, to buy into the technical part of what we offer where I work at, you know, that's just one thing, a microcosm of you know, what's happening and what's not happening. And I mean, so you're talking about having the school districts buy into it, the schools, the principals, the teachers, well, you know, the administration buy into after school programs and things like that, or you know, and fund, you know, like you say, you don't have to just be nonprofit. I mean, school districts have money, you know, they're a business, you know, I mean, we're a business, you know, they say, oh, we're a state agency. Yeah, they raise money, they collect tuition, they get state money, and it's what they do with that money. We have dual enrollment programs going on. We have school kids being bussed in to take certain trades. And but what I found is some of the, you know, particular school district, because there's two school districts where I'm at, and one is buying in, and the one that's local is not as active. And so I've been in contact personally, like with the principal, or talking to the school board member. And, you know, you know, again, I don't want to be negative. You know, it's just that they are where they're at as far as they're thinking, me trying to impress upon them how important it is to bridge that divide, to understand e-commerce and mobile commerce and those types of things. You know, we're living in the 21st century. Hell, I was born in the 60s, okay? But it was at some point, I said, you know, I went back to school, and I said, I need to know more about this technology. So I didn't grow up wanting to do anything in computers because it wasn't any computers. But
Right.
I reached in within my soul and myself and said, hey, I got sense enough to know that if I'm gonna continue to survive the rest of my life, at some point, I got to I got to be in the game. And so I took some classes and already had a degree, a college degree and all that, worked a particular career, and I was into my second one. And I went to school and I was fascinated, and I earned like several industry-based certifications, and went to work in it, was working on gateway computers and all kinds of different things. I got a call from the school, said, hey, would you like to teach? My instructor, he thought I was a decent student, and I was an older student at the time. I wasn't 18, 19, 17 years old. And he brought me in. And so, I've worked tirelessly trying to recruit. Again, I don't discriminate. Whoever come into my classroom, I try to break it down to the lowest common denominator so they can try to understand and then build that knowledge. We find out there's some reading skills that are missing, like the brother said, math skills and different things. Math is, that higher order thinking, and they're missing. Oh, I hate math. I don't really like reading. And it's like, what does that mean? So you try to get into the psychology of the young folks and the older people that's there and say, hey, you got to redirect your thinking. And so trying to do that. So I guess I like to say that, I enjoy that aspect of trying to change that paradigm, trying to get them to think. And so that's what's been fueling my stay there. I probably can retire right now, but I don't have that in, because helping people. But anyway, but I've had students that, and then I've seen them where they wasn't engaged, and then they started to engage, and now they're making twice as much as I'm making right now. So, in more or less, I'm just saying that it's a great thing. I'm glad we have people. I knew we have people out there that business, like you say, the for-profit thing. School districts can invest in companies to teach, after school programs or Saturday programs and things like that, because like you say, the game has changed. We're not outside playing as much anymore. We used to love to go outside and play and do all those things like everybody was saying, but we got to go where they're at, and they're on their phone. And so they know the phone. So, oh man, so now they're halfway there. They know the device. Let's make some money off that device. Let's get educated about the tool that's available to take you to the next level. But anyway, thank you, brother, for presenting tonight.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for your comment.
Brother Rashaki.
Yeah, Larry Hood just came in. He's a computer teacher. And so he, matter of fact, him and Brother Troy has coordinated on talking about the subject and putting together programs. So Brother Hood, you want to chime in?
Greetings. Hello?
Hey,
We can
Brother
hear you.
Hood.
Hey, what's up, brothers? Hey,
It's
peace
good.
and blessings to y'all, man. Hey, yeah, I apologize. I didn't get a chance to catch the beginning of this tonight. But it's a definitely a big subject, and got a lot of background knowledge on this. Yeah, I talked to Tony about it, and I dedicate my life to this, man. As far as Blacks in technology, that's what I do every day. And it's a big topic, man. It's a big topic. I got a lot to say on it, but I'm gonna save a lot of it for the show that I'm gonna do on the network. I appreciate it, man. I work with all these brothers on here. Definitely Mr. Hembrick, man, Professor Rahh. It's so much. What did I miss? What did y'all touch on? I mean, it's
Okay.
a lot, brother.
What we'll do is we'll go around and get the rest of the questions, and then Brother Omari a summary up, and then we'll bring you back in. Okay. After you hear some of his presentation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Rashaki.
Yeah. So all I want to say is I have a paper on the website that's dealing with math, and the issues. It's a lot of psychological issues that stems from early grades, and the 4 basic skills in math are not mastered on the, you would have to have those type of like the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing needs to be in your head as far as through memory, the basic facts. And that's the biggest problem that I have, when I'm teaching, that a lot of the kids, a large amount of them don't have the basic facts together. So they're not able to move past what you're trying to teach because they're stuck on like multiplication tables. So when it comes to math, the basic skills have to be mastered. And then anybody can do math once they have those basic skills down. But when you have people around you at a young age teasing you because you don't know it, you become shell shocked. So it's a big psychological issue that goes along with that. So I'm gonna leave it right there and let you guys proceed.
Yeah, I just saw that section on your website. I'm gonna go look for that article and read it.
All right. I just have a few questions and perspective, because how long has Black in Technology organization been together?
The National Foundation is going on 9 years now.
And
go ahead.
Y'all been together for 9 years, and you just started working with them?
I actually took over the LA chapter about a year ago, but during the pandemic and my hip situation, it kind of laid dormant. And that's why I'm starting to make all this noise now. But I want to tell everybody on this Zoom call, please go to our local website. The domain name is bit-la.org. And I would love it if all you guys, membership is free, just sign up so you can get on our email list and we can continue this dialogue. Also, I would like to suggest that in the coming weeks or months, as you guys continue to explore and discuss Blacks in technology in general, that to invite Dr. Michael Beatty on one of the shows. He runs the STEM Education and Resource Center over on 54th Street in LA. And like with Larry, Troy, some of the other folks on this particular call, I would love to have you guys get on my email.
When you say STEM research, what is is that an acronym, STEM, or is it
STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
And that center is where? It's
on 54th Street. If you guys go visit my website, there's a link to his website also.
And what's
Brother Omari, can you mention that website again? What's that name?
It's BIT, Blacks in Technology, bit-la.org.
Okay.
bit-la.org.
Okay. The other question is, technology is something that our kids are doing through games and through music and through using their phone to a certain degree. It's trying to direct it toward vocational and intellectual growth and development and pursuit, as far as developing skills and not just using the machine, making the machine, designing programs for the machine. There is a lot of effort in what they're calling earn to learn, where a lot of the charter schools have gotten contracts. And then there's a revolutionary OSG out of East Coast. They argue that if you want our kids to have perfect attendance, you want them to be focused, pay them. You pay the teachers, you pay the custodian, you pay the security, you pay the people with all the contracts, the milk contract. Everybody getting paid but the students, and they are the constituency that justify your pay through compulsory education. But many charter schools like LeBron James School, they have computer labs and technical schools. The brother out of New York got a school called Farrell. They do. My son, when he was a principal, he had a company, just give him nothing but labs. But the whole concept of earning to learn is catching on in many areas. And I think that'd be the challenge of many homeless kids and many kids in economic dire situation. I remember when they were paying us right after the Watts Rebellion. We got jobs with the OIC program, opportunity, and NYC, all of those programs. We got paid to come to school and work in the cafeteria, or work with the custodian, or work with the gardener, or just to get up and just put the flag up they paid us and take it down. And people, those people had good attendance, and you want to stay in school to keep getting your money. So when you pay people to have perfect attendance, and things of such. Now, financial aid was supposed to do that for young people, young adults, or people trying to go to community college. But we can't even get it. They're making it so hard. You have to apply for financial aid online now. And they make the qualifications so rigid that many people don't take advantage of it. But I'm not talking about in addition to financial aid. If you would start paying young adults and kids to attend school, work, and don't get in trouble, your fights will go down, because people want to keep getting their check. And if they don't come to school, they don't get paid. But most of these people want young people to come to school because it's good for them, for their future. And I'm saying that we're in a society now where people want to know things, want to get paid right now. It's like, that's why the fast food business is so lucrative, because people want their food right then and there. And I'm just saying that that's a way to consider. That the HBCUs have annual technology conferences. You have in Uganda and Zimbabwe, they just launched their first satellite. And then at the same time, there was a lot of people, third world countries, dealing with drones and dealing with them for various reasons. Yes. But the point is that technology is required almost for all jobs now. You apply online. Second, that we as a people, a large percentage of our kids don't live with their biological parents. The primary educational unit is the family. So we have to begin to take that under consideration. Also, and so the technological part of teaching them math and things of this nature, give them incentives to want to learn it, and then teach them to like it and appreciate it. It just means homework every night, but if you're getting paid, you don't mind doing the homework. It supersedes the gratification of playing games for free all night. Yeah. When it supersedes that. So I don't know what aspect the Black technology is teaching and how they're recruiting the kids or the constituency. Even seniors, pay them, to go and learn. Exactly. So part of the funding and the things nature to get some of these billionaires to have a different vision. You can't keep trying to get people to learn with the same old strategy.
Exactly.
And so, you have to come up with more innovative things that move people. And in America, the only thing
is money. It's money.
It is money.
We have to take that into consideration, because even Sister Clara Muhammad School, Dr. Marcus Garvey, W.E. Du Bois, it was an independent school in Pasadena. All their kids exceeded math, their performance. I mean, they exceeded it. They had a rigid discipline program, and they had family participation, children's space out in Compton. All the kids were taught higher level. They had them in 3rd grade doing algebra, and 4th, 5th grade, learning the principles at least. So it's not a question that the kids can't learn.
Right.
It's getting an environment where the family rewards them or either participate with them. Like when we was coming up, my mother never asked me how to finish my homework. That wasn't even it, I was supposed to do that. She didn't even supposed to ask if I did my homework. I mean, I went to school with a basketball and came home with a basketball. I didn't bring no books home. I looked like I might have to squab on the way home and fight. So, so I ain't have no books in my hand unless I was gonna hit somebody with them. And so it's a different game out there today. It's a big different game out there with technicians. That's what they call people that work on cars at the dealership. You don't get a mechanic, you get a technician, because the cars run on computers, the car runs on this, and they got everything hid. You go into electric cars for the future. A lot of them burning up right now and wrecking and stuff, but eventually they're going to get that together. Now, how do we get our young people to see it and pay attention to us? Pay attention. You throw some money down there, they'll pay attention in order to get that money. How do you respond to that?
Well, I agree with you, Professor. I think that the technology itself allows us to incentivize it and monetize it. And I think that, like Troy was saying, down in Orange County, those kids riding around in those cars, they're making money. They have found an incentive that motivates them to get involved in that gaming stuff. And I think we have to do the same thing. I have to say this, Professor Rahh. The first time I actually saw excellence in progress was when we were doing the Academic Achievement Academy. You had different entities that participated for a different reason. The tutors participated because they needed some kind of help with their grade. The parents participated because they knew their children needed to improve their education. The kids participated because they were trying to, get a better grade, to do whatever they were trying to do. And your staff participated, because we always do, that there was going to be some fried chicken and some Kool-Aid at the end of the day. But you incentivize that whole process. And when I look at, I don't know how much of that is involved in your son's program, but I think your son's academic model is one of the most exciting tech activities in the city. And the other exciting tech activity in the city is in Hembrick Park with Ben Caldwell's Chaos Network. They are building an electric vehicle with a virtual reality component in it that allows you, while you're going from point A to point B on this electric shuttle through Hembrick Park, it gives you a historical tour of what was going on in Hembrick Park. And it also gives you a futuristic tour of what Hembrick Park could be, augmented with technology. But I think we've got to incentivize it. That's got to be the next step, because how do we get these kids interested? My grandson right now plays basketball, and he had a good game. He came home and told me he wanted to go to some kind of camp because there was somebody there to give money for your brand. I was trying to tell him, well, I don't think you're that good yet, but you know, that's what he's motivated by that. He's motivated by this idea that he can get to the NBA and fix all of our family's financial woes. So I think when we talk about getting people interested in math, what better way to get someone interested in math than counting their money or showing up to get some money or, you know, getting rewarded with an incentive to say, hey, if you learned how to do this, you get this bonus cryptocurrency or this bonus reward or whatever. So I definitely think that has to be a part of moving forward in terms of educating these kids.
Yeah, Brother Omari, could you give us another quick summary of your presentation for Brotherhood so he can ask his question?
Certainly. And Larry, thank you for signing up, brother. And I was looking at your website. I'm definitely going to jump back into it when we get off this call. But in a nutshell, Blacks in Technology is a national organization. We have 53,000 members. We have members in about 40 cities and 6 international countries, and some of them in Africa, some in Australia and South America. And the main focus of the organization is workforce development. Now here in LA, we've kind of created 3 initiatives, workforce development being one, digital equity being the other, and digital literacy being the final piece to our initiatives. And we have 3 programs basically that we're launching next year. They will be a virtual job fair. We're going to have a program called Accelerate Black LA, where we will choose from applicants who submit their proposals, their ventures. We're going to choose 5 of them, give them $50,000 each, and run them through a 13-week curriculum, accelerated curriculum. And then we'll do an innovation week at the end of the year to celebrate folks like you, Larry, and Troy, who are doing things in technology, and including you too, Rashiki. You know, that whole math piece is so important to the whole tech question that, you know, these are the kind of discussions that we need to have on a regular basis. And even though there's a small amount of people in this room, I'm walking away with some new connections, some new ideas, and that's what's important.
Sounds great. Excellent, my brother. Appreciate the summary, man. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely from our perspective, we really appreciate it. It's Brother Troy talking at this point. But, and I like what everybody has spoken of. I wanted to address one thing that you spoke on. And when it comes to nonprofit, I used to own a doctor's office.
Brother Troy, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Let Brotherhood ask this question, then we come to you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Brotherhood.
Oh no, I was just kind of soaking it all in right now.
But you teach.
Yeah, I teach technology every day. I definitely.
What's the challenge?
So, well, for me, I could say just starting kids out earlier, being exposed to technology. That's probably, I would say, for our community is just the biggest challenge. Just being able to be exposed, just have access to the equipment. Once kids have access, you know, early, then they won't be, you know, afraid later on, because there's a lot of stigmas, you know, using technology, social pressures with it, as well as economic pressures. Just being able to get the right equipment, can you afford it, and what's the priority for the household, you know, and especially now when you're dealing with 3D animation and gaming. That's a big part of it now, and you gotta have the right equipment, and so if you don't have it, you can't even be on a level playing field, and that's part of it too. So I definitely agree with what you said, Professor Rahh, about giving kids incentives and paying them, and that's definitely something that we could work more at, as far as giving kids some kind of paycheck after they've graduated and gone through And you know, and knowing that they got something to look forward to, because I mean that's the model when you really go back. That's the model. I mean, when we used to control, you know, K-12 in our own community is being able to see and understand and dive into it, not really kind of, you know, think it's something foreign to them. I mean, you don't teach math in high school, so why should you wait to your high school to be exposed to technology or understand what it is and what it isn't?
Right.
Yeah, so you said that they should start really in elementary.
Well, I mean, as far as like being exposed to learning how to do certain things and create things, not necessarily being consumer things, but like, you know, I wouldn't give a tablet to kids until they're, you know, a certain age, like not less than 3. But as they get older, they become more acclimated, you know, and start teaching them basic things about programming, coding, problem solving, you know, on that aspect. You know, like elementary age, you can teach them computational thinking, and that's part of it. You can learn those concepts early. The computational thinking, it's not really just coding, but the computational thinking and problem solving, those things that start earlier.
When you work in Compton, do they have the right equipment in the city of Compton?
Well, I would say, of course, not every school has the right equipment, but in Compton, there definitely has been investments in computer science and investments in equipment and things of that nature. But you have to have the right plan behind it and the right people who know how to do it at all levels. You know, you start, you know, basically having elementary one-to-one technology, the right curriculum, and then when they go to the next level, middle school, it's just kind of feeding into it. And then you got high school, you know, they leave the middle school, they can go to the high school and feed in right into the same kind of curriculum. So by the time they graduate, they're going to already be at a certain level, rather than waiting until, you know, you're in high school and then you kind of a little bit at a disadvantage when it comes to certain things, because it's going to take, when it comes to programming and language in general, I mean, it's so many areas you can go into. Me personally, I'm into teaching kids, you know, a language, how to program, how to problem solve. It's not just coding, but it's also computational thinking. And so I tell kids, you master a language, you learn one language good enough, you'll be able to pick any language up, and that's kind of part of it. Once you understand one language very well, you can pick up a lot of different things.
Okay. Larry, are you in Compton?
I live in LA, but I work in Compton. I work for Compton Early College. Early College High School. We started with 100 kids, and now we, you know, about 900 students, and but I teach, you know, CTE, the programming side, the career pathway, and game design as well.
I look forward to learning more about what you're doing. Yeah.
All right, Troy, did you have any more comment? You're on mute, Troy.
There I go. Thank you, sir. No, I'm a yield. Let this show go ahead and move forward, and then, like you said, you can bring me back on. One of the things I just wanted to reiterate, Brother Omari was speaking on, because for myself, I'm a capitalist. So I only believe in capitalism, and I don't think nonprofits is the way to go. You know, I've been in business for such a long time that the nonprofit way is not the way. You know, so for me, I teach kids how to build corporations, turn themselves into corporations. There's another thing that I like to do now is the kids I see in sports, I turn them into corporations, and it allows them to be that NIL, to actually say that they can remove themselves from one entity to another, because our Social Security number is one thing, but our company is another thing. So I teach people how to be a corporation. I teach people how to get corporate credit. I teach them how to do corporate banking and then get corporate funding. And back to what you were saying about paying the kids, you know, that's our way and that's our route. And that's something we need to look into, is making sure our kids, I do it with my own child. here you go. This is how we get corporations, corporate funding, corporate credit, corporate credit cards, even corporate cars. So I'm gonna leave that there because I don't want to expound on it much further than that. But it's something that we need to teach us, that financial literacy, and removing that flag from, okay, this is Troy Betton, to Caps Tech, you know what I mean? And nobody know who I am. And now we're able to extract funds in a different way, and we can create business in a different way, but we can actually create teaching in a different way. And that's why I like to help people the way I do it, and that's the manner I go about it.
Yeah, but we have an issue in the community.
I would like to add something, just quickly, just a little. I understand what Troy's saying. I remember I was always into entrepreneurial things as a kid, and I don't know if anyone knows, but Junior Achievement did exactly what you're talking about, Troy, where they taught the kids how to balance a checkbook, start a business, LLCs, things like that. And maybe you could name it something different, but Junior Achievement did that back in the 60s, 70s. And I think it's excellent idea. But there's so much growth that our kids need to have. The Junior Achievement way, or clubs. See, kids do things on the computers, but they don't have the sense of socializing in person. And then it would take a teacher to talk to them, and a teacher that they like, to spend time with them, just to be in the after school program. And then the after school programs are where it's at for kids. And I mean, regardless, they still need that, I think.
I think you're 100% right there. And one of the things, I wasn't releasing them to that world. That's not what I was saying. And that's why I said I wanted to yield back to when brother say he can bring me back on. I'm not saying that we can ready to give no kid no corporate credit card.
No. They just talk about I'm talking about the nuts and bolts, kind of, giving them a feel for it.
Some of the schools that he just mentioned that's actually doing things in LA. Like our brother that had Founders Savings Bank, he's doing his school, and he's teaching them financial literacy. And those things is needed. But they also got to participate on campus on how to use their equity. And I remember back when I went to Tibby and Enterprise, but at Tibby one time they was giving us Tibby dollars, and you was able to go to the store and spend your Tibby dollars, and you was getting it for education. You know what I mean?
And they're manning the store.
Right, they manning the store, and they're showing us something that we really didn't understand, but we was excited because you could do different chores and tasks to extract Tibby dollars.
Yes.
And you was actually able to go home with something in your hand, you know what I mean? And so those dollars turned into economics.
Detroit, we gotta have both of y'all back.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great.
And so, brother, I mean, is there any people who haven't asked questions want to ask questions? If not, Rashiki, Omari, you can make your closing statement, then Rashiki, you can close us out.
Yeah, brother, I'd like to make a couple of comments back on the basic stuff. You were talking about, the inadequacies in math and reading with and Brother Rahh, those kind of kids that me and you like to work with anyway. Along with the basic stuff like Brother Rashiki said, but this is another component. You're teaching them something in their world that they can see and apply that to. It gets them more acclimated to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? And we need to realize that, okay, right in your classroom, how many right angles do you see? How many rectangles do you see? And stuff like that they can see it right there in front of them. That sort of thing. When you get to the reading, the phonetic process needs to be beat them upside the head. Instead of playing music at lunchtime, I just said they need to play Hooked on Phonics. So you phonetically get the basics, because they cut that out when I first started teaching. They cut that out and started going to a whole language approach, and it's just a code. And I tell the kids, once you break the code, reading is nothing, but you got to break the phonetic code. So I'm gonna leave it at that and pass it on to Brother Rahh and Brother Bakari. You can summarize your situation.
Well, again, I thank you, brothers, for inviting me onto the Conscious Corner podcast. This has been wonderful. I'm always happy to meet new people. I want every What I hope to do is to be able to use this organization to point resources, be they funding, computers, or whatever it might be. I want to be able to direct those resources to entities like Troy's and Larry's, or programs in the school, after school programs that exist, that really reach out to Black children. So that's one of my main goals with Blacks in Technology, to identify what's out there and to be able to direct the resources to the entities, be they for-profit or non-profit, so that we can really participate in the equity of this. $28.9 billion annually should be coming into Black households in Los Angeles.
Okay. Rashiki, and thanks again, Omari. The challenge is always going to be one of struggle, and getting young people to explore or want to learn is going to always be a challenge.
Yes.
But we as African people started technology years ago, as Brother Hembrick could say, when we built pyramids. That was a form of technological knowledge.
Yes.
To do it without the tools and the skills and the science that they have today. And they still can't build the pyramids the way the Africans did it throughout the continent, not just in Egypt. Second, their whole concept of the Dogon star, and seeing it and being able to get an understanding of the calendar and the 12-month year calendar. So most of our technology was in our mental state, mental brain of interpreting the universe and using nature as a form of technology to help us move from savagery to institutional development and eras of discovery and eras of institutionalization, where we instituted things. So, I mean, I think Sister Linda, a lot of her research is on Black and their invention. And a lot of them were contributed to technology, and a lot of their patents were stolen. And a lot of them weren't denied to patent their information. So we got to look at that and give the kids that history of us and our contribution to technology, so they don't look like they junior flips when it comes to it. That they're the ones that put the earth on the road to what they call technology today. Right. Rashiki, you want to close us out?
Yes, sir. This has been excellent, everybody. Thanks for coming. And on Wednesday, we have Kwabena Siddiqui Jajaga Rasuli coming on again. This will be his third visit. And in response to the Kyrie, the things that they wanted Kyrie to do, to, you know, when it came to him getting back on the team and wanted him to do this and that. So Brother Rasuli said that we have 5 requirements to end current NBA sanctioned hate. So that's going to be excellent. So on Wednesday, I hope we could have a nice crowd like this to see what this brother's talking about, because his content is really excellent, just like Brother Omari's was. So
Right.
each one teach one,
Before you
and
go,
Conscious Corner.
oh, yeah, and Troy, make sure Rashiki send you my number, and then we'll talk about a date for you to be on.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Call, but if you got a pencil now, I'll give it to you.